What do you think makes for a good night's sleep? A soft bed? Feather pillows? A thick blanket? For the ancient Egyptians, all they needed was a slab of stone and a cracked mud brick roof. Strange? Let's step into a small room by the Nile, where sleep was a sacred ritual older than the pyramids. 1. The mud brick house, cool and strong. Close your eyes. Imagine you're standing in a tiny village by the Nile over 3,000 years ago. The desert sun spills down like a warm golden cloth. But inside the house before you, it's cool, still, and peaceful. That house wasn't built from stone, nor from wood. It was made from river mud. The ancient Egyptians had a simple, miraculous trick. They scooped up river mud, mixed it with golden straw, kneaded it with their hands, then pressed it into wooden molds. No need for kilns, just the sun always blazing above this sacred land. After a few days, the bricks hardened, strong, light, and as gentle as Mother Earth herself. The walls were built thick not to defend, but to cradle cool air within. In the blazing desert heat, the house remained surprisingly cool. At night, when cold winds crept in, those thick walls wrapped the family in warmth, like a blanket of earth. The flat roof was made from date palm wood and mud. In the evenings, people climbed up to gaze at the moon or dry dates in the breeze. Windows were just small ventilation holes enough for a whisper of wind, like a mother's lullaby. No hum of air conditioners, no ceiling fans, only wind, earth, and moonlight. A mother cuddled her child by the wall. Beside them, a basket of fresh bread and a cool clay jar of water. Beyond the curtain, a corner for chickens and ducks, humans and animals, under one mud brick roof. Humble but whole. Can you hear it? The Egyptian night murmuring on the rooftop, soft as an ancient dream, lulling you to sleep. 2. Sleep without blankets. Where did they dream? As night falls over the gentle Nile, the papyrus leaves rustle in the breeze. The ancient Egyptians return to their cool mud brick homes. No electricity, no air conditioning, no cozy beds. Just the breath of nature and the hush of twilight. Their homes were small, just one story. Thick mud brick walls held in the cool by night. The roof was thatched with dry straw or palm leaves. Inside warmth, a clay stove for cooking, and a sleeping space in the corner. No plush mattresses. They slept on low wooden beds, slightly curved like a firm cradle. And beneath their heads, a stone headrest, cold, curved, and definitely not soft. But it wasn't for comfort. They believed the head housed the soul. Elevating it kept the spirit safe, and the body cool through the sweltering summer nights. Often, the whole family slept in one room. Children nestled beside their parents. A cat curled at their feet. Breezes slipped through the shutters. Crickets and river sounds lulled them. No lights, no phones, no alarms. They slept when darkness fell, and rose with the golden light slipping through the smallest window. Their world was silent, their dreams soft and sacred, only moonlight, and drifting souls between this world and the next. A farmer's meal, from sandy bread to foamy beer. 3. By midday, when the wheat fields had been harvested, the farmer returned home. Under the mud brick roof, a simple meal awaited. No tables, no chairs. Just a mat on the floor. Family gathered close. In the center, a basket of bread. Not soft or fluffy, but thick, dense, and sometimes hard enough to challenge your teeth. You might bite into sand, because grinding the grain with stone left behind tiny bits of grit. Still, they ate slowly, mindfully, with a dip of oil, a pinch of salt, fresh onions, or a slice of tangy goat cheese. In good seasons, lentils or dried fish might be added to the feast, but the star was beer, not the golden bubbles we know today. Ancient Egyptian beer was thick, cloudy, with a sour aroma. Made from old fermented bread, mixed with warm water. A cool, nourishing drink to refresh the body in the desert heat. Even children drank it. It had very little alcohol. They spoke little during meals. Just the quiet sounds of chewing and slow breathing. Each meal is a sacred moment of thanks to the earth, to the river, to the gods, and to the hands that planted each seed. When the meal ended and golden light bathed the house, the farmer leaned back against the wall and closed his eyes. Shaved heads and sacred scents. Why, Egypt smelled divine. Even the wind through the bricks whispered like a lullaby. 4. In this land of fire and dust, hair was not for beauty, but a burden. From peasants to nobles, men and women, young and old, everyone shaved their heads. Not for fashion, but for cleanliness. The land was dusty. Flies were everywhere. Hair trapped sweat and bad smells. So they shaved, often daily, with copper razors and steady hands. Afterward, they anointed their heads with oils lotus, cinnamon, myrrh, or sacred moringa, or even a fragrant cone of wax placed atop the head. Women, of course, still loved beauty, so they wore wigs. Elaborately braided from human hair or flax, decorated with lotus flowers, beads. As it melted in the heat, it perfumed the air gently around them. Imagine a cool stone room at night. Lamplight flickers on the wall. A figure enters bald, with melting scented wax on their crown. The smell of lotus fills the room, merging with the soft harp in the distance. To the Egyptians, cleanliness was divine, and fragrance was a sacred shield against impurity. Not just their bodies, but clothes, rooms, even tombs were perfumed. Even in death, they carried the scent of grace into eternity. 5. When cats were gods, and why they mourned them like kin. Do you have a cat? If so, you know that stare cool, wise, a little smug. The Egyptians saw it too, but instead of laughing, they knelt. To them, cats were sacred, living symbols of Bastet, goddess of protection, motherhood, and fierce defense. Cats hunted snakes, guarded homes, and brought invisible peace. Hurting a cat could mean death. When a beloved cat passed, families didn't just bury it. They shaved their heads in mourning, men and women alike. The cat was mummified, laid in a spiral coffin, carved with Bastet's image, and buried with honors as if it were a child. Entire temples held feline cemeteries. Thousands of mummified cats lay side by side, with offerings, tiny gold amulets, even food. Greek merchants once wrote, if a house caught fire in Egypt, people would run in to save the cat, even before their children. Even pharaohs carried Bastet statues to war for divine protection. Some battles halted altogether because the enemy released cats into the battlefield. No one dared attack where the sacred cat walked. To the Egyptians, cats were silent, graceful, divine, a watching God that never needed words. Eternity isn't in the pyramids, but in memory, when mud brick walls crumble, when reed roofs are swept away by the desert wind, even when stone statues wear down under the sun. One thing still remains memory. The ancient Egyptians did not fear death. They only feared being forgotten. That's why their names were etched everywhere. Walls, jars, coffins, even on tiny papyrus slips. Because they believed, as long as someone speaks your name, your soul still lives. If no one remembers you, that is the second death. So in every ritual, they repeated ancestors' names. At every meal, they left a bite of food for those who passed. And in every dream, they believed their loved ones were listening. You see, maybe a Nile farmer's life wasn't grand. No palace, no power, no name in history books. But they live on in stone carvings, in sandy bread, in those curious headrests, and tonight, in your calm imagination. So if you remember them tonight, those who slept on rooftops, ate bread with sand, and drank beer from clay pots, maybe they're smiling, somewhere just beyond the Nile. Sleep well, and dream of golden sun, warm sand, and the whispers of the ancient world. You haven't just heard a story. You've helped a soul be remembered. Good night.